need someone to love me. Oh, I need someone to love me. Oh, I need someone to love me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing some back to school advice for freshmen. I would say this will be more geared towards high school students. I've done previous advice videos, just on advice on making friends and bullying and things like that. Also advice on dating, but today I'm going to focus on back to school advice for freshmen because I feel like that's one of the it's like a really important experience in your school, in your school education, entering high school. That's where some major things will happen, and that's where you will just start to develop your character and your personality. So entering high school can be really fun. It can be also challenging, and it can also be very stressful. So I think out of going to elementary school and going to middle school, I think when you enter the high school, also when you enter college, but there's something about that high school experience that will really stick with you. So this will be some school, cause I know everybody's doing these back to school advice videos, so I figure I might as well help. I might as well do one as well. And this is a perfect time since the school season will be starting soon, with probably within the next 2 weeks, I think. So this will be back to school advice for freshmen. Now this all depends on which kind of high school you go to. If you go to a public school, if you go to a private school or anything like that, I think the biggest concern people might have is bullying. When I entered high school, I didn't have to deal with bullying from the upperclassmen, like the sophomores, the juniors, the freshmen. Which I think that's a concern, because you watch these TV shows and you see the seniors, they'll shove the freshmen into lockers or they'll throw them into a trash can. I've never had any type of experience like that, nor have I seen anybody else deal with that. But it could vary depending on what high school you go to. But I've never heard of anything like that or seen anything that resembles that. So like I said, if that has happened to you, leave a comment down below, tell me about it. But I don't think that's something you really necessarily have to worry about. Like I said, it all depends on what high school you go to. I don't think people really are going to pick on you just because you're a freshman. They may say some jokes around you. They may tease you. But I really don't think it's anything that will be that bad, just because you're a freshman. So you don't have to worry about seniors or juniors just shoving you around or anything like that. So that's probably one of your number one concerns, being bullied for being a freshman, because you're the new students of the school. So you might feel like a new target or something like that, but you don't have to worry about that, at least from my personal experience. Another thing is, making friends. Now, hopefully, in my case, you and your friends, you all went to middle school together, so you guys all chose the same high school to go to. So, making new friends may not be a hard thing if you guys already went to middle school together. But if you do have any people or friends who you were friends in middle school with or you elementary school with, try to keep that relationship and connection going through high school as well. Also, if you might, this is you're new to the high school, and this is your first time, being in that area, and you may have transferred from another district, or you just moved to the state or city or whatever. You don't have any friends, you don't know anybody. My best suggestion is this is what I would do. For one, before school even starts, they have a school orientation, where you go to the school, you get your schedule, you find out your locker, your combination, what classes you're going to be taking, the electives, whatever. So during that time, that's the perfect opportunity for what I would say to network. Talk to people. Just kind of hang out, see if anybody has some of the similar interests in you. If you're in video games, see if anybody else likes video games. If you like reading, or you like math, or a certain artist or actor or something like that, you just have to find people who would have the similar interests as you have, which may not, it sounds easy, but it's really not, especially if you're a person who's shy, or you really quite like you quiet, you really keep to yourself, you know. That may be harder for you to do, but orientation is one of the best times to do that because that's when everyone's to the school, everybody's trying to figure out where their locker is, which classes they have, which teacher they have. They going to the school trying to figure out, you know, where's the cafeteria, where's the library, where's the gym, and all the other stuff, you know. So that's the perfect time to just see if you can find a couple of people who, you know, had the same similar interests as you, or just talk to people you may run into. You got to try to, you know, break outside out of your barrier, break out of your shell, and try to communicate with people. See if you can find people who have the similar class as you. Maybe you guys can start talking. But at least from my personal experience, I never really had a hard time making friends. When I was in high school, I mean, I wasn't really the most popular person there, but you know, I wasn't like someone who just sat in the corner, you know, and I was like by myself, you know. I was able to, you know, I was a very likable person. And the thing is, when you're in high school, the most important thing is to be yourself because people will be able to see through your fakeness. If you're trying to be something that you're not, people will see through that. So just be yourself. You don't try to be something you're not. Don't try to show off. Don't try to be flashy. Just be yourself because that will attract people to want to be your friend. That will attract people to want to be around you. They want to be people who want to be able to say, oh yeah, you know, that's my friend. So just be yourself and just be genuine and people will want to hang around you. But you have to show people that you're a good person to hang around. Because in high school, you have to be careful who you really hang around with. Because the people you hang around with will determine what kind of person you are. So just really be careful who you keep in your close circle like that. Just be careful of that. Be mindful of that. I mean, there are in high schools, every high school, you got the most popular people. You got the people who play sports, like the football players, basketball players. Then you got what people may consider the nerds. I mean, you got people who do drama, like the plays and stuff like that. So, I mean, there are really different groups of people in high school. That's one thing I would say about, you know, when you watch high school, you know, or the movies or the TV shows. That's something that there are different groups, and they are kind of. That's how they sit at lunch too. The football players sit at one table. The nerds might sit at, which I don't like saying nerds. The smart people sit at this table. Then if you're in between both of that, like me, then you sit at the table with the rest of the people. But like when you first start school, I don't remember 100%, but you know, when you first start school, you'll have a lot of like projects to do, and when you have projects, you kind of have to team up with people. So when you'll have to like find like people in the class to like team up with to do your projects, like PowerPoints, papers, etc. So when stuff like that happens, that's a good time to like network and just really get to know people and talk to them. When you have projects or like class projects to do, you gotta, you know, look around the class, see who doesn't have a partner, you find a partner, then people start talking, and from that you can develop friends. But you know, it's not that hard to make friends. You just have to be social. That's what you have to do. Another thing you have to realize is that you'll notice that you may have a couple, like you and a couple of people might have the same classes together. You might have the same lunch period together or the same gym period together. Over time, you know, you'll start talking to the people more. You'll start to develop friendship. That's not really, you know, start to become friends because you all got the same classes. That they might need help understanding something. Or maybe they didn't catch something in their notes. So they might want to see your notes. They see if you caught it or if you understood. Or you guys, since you guys have the same classes together, you guys will probably sit together at lunch because that's who you're familiar with. People tend to sit with people who they feel comfortable with, who they're familiar with. So that kind of helps out with you know, making friends. Like I said, when you're in high school, that's when you start to develop your character, what kind of person you're going to be, your personality, and everything like that. One thing I will say is, as far as being bullied, like I've made a video on being bullied, but being bullied, like I said, I don't want to go like into too much detail about it. But if you are being bullied in high school, which does happen, I suggest you notify someone, whether it be a school guidance counselor, the teacher, the principal, assistant principal, your parents. If you are being bullied, I would just advise, you know, please tell someone. Don't keep it to yourself, and don't feel like you're being a tattletale or anything like that. Because you have to understand, this is your life, and this is your high school experience, and you want to have the most fun that you can have. And if someone is ruining that for you, you have to let somebody know. Because you just hear so many cases of people where they commit suicide and stuff like that. And it's just really, really sad. So if you are being bullied, do not be afraid to tell anyone. Because this is a part of the high school experience. It happens to some people, but it doesn't happen to everyone. So if it does happen to you, don't be afraid to tell someone. The next thing I want to talk about, when you're in high school, freshman year, it's not necessarily so much, but also when you're in high school, your freshman year, if you want to start a sport, I say freshman year, sophomore year is the best time to start. But I would say freshman year, if you're really interested in a sport and you feel like that's something you want to get a scholarship to go to college for, whether it be track, football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, hockey, whatever, I feel like the freshman year is a great time to start to get your feet in the ground and get started. But if you want to be a great football player, I would suggest you start your freshman year. Or sophomore year, but I would suggest freshman. Like, get yourself in the door and get ready. Also, make sure you keep your grades up. Because people may say, oh yeah, freshman year is very fun. Out of all the years of high school, freshman year, it was the year I had the most fun. It was just fun. The work really wasn't that hard. It was easy. It was fun having, good time with friends and everything. But the thing is, as the years go up, sophomore, junior, freshman, the work gets harder. It gets harder. You start to get more stress. So enjoy freshman year, have your fun. If you're interested in the sport, I would suggest you take it up. But some people don't do sports because they just figure they want to get used to being in high school. So they wait till they're a sophomore. But if you're really interested in something that you want to become, like you want to get a scholarship for college when you're a senior, I suggest you start your freshman year. Because that will really help you out. Because you have more time being in there than if you start, as a sophomore. I would say take your grades very seriously. Because you have to realize, when you are applying to colleges, when you're a senior, they look at your freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. Just because it's your first year doesn't mean it doesn't count. You still have to take your first year of high school very seriously. I'm not saying you have to be, super serious about it, but your grades do count. So don't just not try or anything. Like, freshman year is very important. It's very, very important. So, do take it very seriously. Take your grades very seriously. Have fun, When you're there, you have so many different clubs. The clubs may vary depending on which high school you go to. But make sure if you want to join a club, clubs aren't really, that important to me. They're fun to do, activity-wise, but they really aren't important. It's not like it will make or break whether you, get into a college based on how many clubs you were in. So they're just more extracurricular activities that you can do, but they're not really that important. So if you want to join a club your freshman year, you can, but you don't have to. I think by the time I was a senior in high school, I was in about 5 or 6 clubs. So I was in a lot of clubs. So it's something fun to do, but it's not necessarily that important, but just make sure. This goes past, freshman advice. Make sure you have the most out of make sure you get the most experience out of your high school experience, because you only get to do it once, unless you fail. you only get to do it once. So you have fun during those years, because those years will fly by fast. You may be a freshman, then a couple years later you're a senior, and you be like, wow, where did the time go? It really does fly by fast. So make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you have the most fun you can. Also, be involved with your school. They have pep rallies, they got homecoming, they got prom. Make sure you have fun in that. Be involved, with your school and your school spirit. Go to football games, go to basketball games. Just, support your fellow teammates and your classmates, because the people who play on those teams are people who are in your classes. So make sure you support them. That's something I wish I would have did more. I didn't really start to do that till I was a junior and senior. But I wish my freshman and sophomore year I would have went to more football games and more basketball games. But I did that later on in high school. But I'm just advice. Make sure if you want to have fun, make sure you go to the football and basketball games. This is a super great experience. It was really, really fun. So I would suggest you do that. It's just support your school, support your teammates. Like I said, the main thing about being a freshman, it's just to have fun. The main important thing is to have fun. Like I said, if you're being bullied, make sure you report it as soon as possible. Seriously, seriously, as soon as possible. Report that. Make sure your grades, keep your grades up. Your grades are very important. Like I said, even though it's your first year, that doesn't mean it doesn't count. Your grades are really important as a freshman. So, like I said, take it seriously. But like I said, freshman year really isn't that hard. Plus, the teachers are more lenient on you when you're a freshman. If you're a junior or senior, they might not be as lenient. But if you're a freshman, and since you're new to the school and everything, the teachers kind of let you get away with little stuff here and there. It all depends on which school you go to. Make sure you get the class on time. Make sure you map out which route you got to take. So, if you got one class on the first floor, you might got another class on the third floor. You got to find out which is the quickest way to get there, before the bell rings. So make sure, my advice to you as a freshman entering to high school is try to see if there's anybody, from your middle school or anybody else who's going to the same high school as you. See if you can link up with people during orientation day. If you can't, see if there's anybody else that you can hang around with. Also, when you're in class, notice who's around you. Notice who has the same class together. And also, if you need help or you're struggling with a class, don't be afraid to ask your teacher for help. Because that's what your teachers are there for. If you got to stay after, like 1 or 2 hours after school to get tutored or to have a study session with your teacher, do that. Like, I've done that before, So make sure, you take advantage of that. If you need help or you're struggling, let your teachers know as soon as possible. Because they're there to help you. If you need a tutor, get one. But, it's hard to make a friend. Just look at everyone's schedule around you. Just try to see if you got any same classes with the same people, which generally happens. You might have 3 or 4 same classes with the same people. And since you guys have the same classes and you guys hang around each other so much, eventually, friendship will develop. Or also you just be yourself and just be genuine. People will want to hang around you. That's all you have to do. Don't try to act cocky. Don't try to act like you're all that. Don't try to do none of that. Just be yourself. Like I said, take advantage of your high school experience. Try to have as much fun as you can. If you want to join a sports team, I advise you to do it. Playing sports in high school is very fun. Join a club if you want to. Do community service. The main thing about being a freshman is just make sure you're just having fun. That's all you have to do. Make sure you're having fun, but also make sure you're taking your homework and your classwork very seriously. But that's pretty much it as a freshman. You really don't have to worry about too much because freshman year really isn't that hard. You just have to apply yourself. And if you need help, ask for it. But freshman year wasn't too bad. It's fun. You develop friendships. You just have so much fun. You make so many great memories and you have so many great experiences. It's just a really, really good time. So if you're a freshman and you're watching this video, you had nothing to worry about. Just be yourself on the first day. The friendships might not happen at first, but the friendships will eventually come. You just have to be social and just be yourself. Like I said, take advantage of being in clubs and sports. Make sure you're having as much fun as possible. But, sorry, I got a message. But other than that, you don't have to worry about your freshman year. We'll breeze. You'll have fun. But if you have any questions about freshmen, being a freshman in high school or anything like that, you can leave them down below. Or if you need, you have advice or if you have a topic or question that you need answered or you have a situation that you need advice on, I'll leave it down in the comments below and I'll make sure I will respond to it quickly or soonly. But hopefully this video helps some of you guys out who may be a freshman entering high school in a couple of weeks. This will help you out. Don't stress it. Don't worry about it. It'll be fun. Just be yourself and just take your homework and classwork serious and you'll have a good time. Your high school experience will be really great, something that you can remember. So thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, comment, and like, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Mama always told me, baby, you gotta walk by faith